Do you have any suggestions for turning an ASD strength into a relationship strength? They seem to be mutually exclusive. Well, yeah, they can seem to be. That's a good question. There are some strengths that you will have that the neurotypicals won't have. And also, with respect to, and you use the term relationship strength, just understand that that's going to be a relationship strength is going to be only assessed in the eye of the beholder. So you may exhibit a relationship strength that you have, and this person might really value that and be impressed by that. And you may exhibit the same strength to somebody else, and they may not even view it as a strength. It may not impress them at all. It may not establish any kind of meaningful connection for them. So that's going to be very relative as point number one. Maybe a good angle to come at would be to contrast your strengths with the typical neurotypical. The typical neurotypical. They often will fail to notice what's in front of their eyes because they're distracted by social cues, which you don't tend to pay attention to. They're distracted by random small chit-chat, which you don't engage in. You are very good at tuning in to specific details. And you have a much better memory with respect to details than neurotypicals tend to have. If you've ever joined a group or a club or whatever just to fit in, right? You're joining a particular club just to fit in. You know how hard it is to be true to yourself when you're trying to fit in. People on the autism spectrum, they tend to view social expectations as rather irrelevant. Their interest and their passions are really what matters, not so much other people's expectations. And there again, this is relative. Some people would view that as a weakness. Some people would view it as a strength, and it can be both depending on the situation. You will not tend to be too concerned about outward appearances. That's very much unlike your neurotypical friends. You're not going to be too worried about brand names of clothes, hairstyles, and so on. They will. Everybody claims to value the truth, but few people, and I'm specifically referring to neurotypicals, are truly truthful. They think they are, and they try to be, and they say they are when they're not. Most people on the autism spectrum, the truth is the truth. There's no shades of gray. It either the truth or it is not the truth. So usually a good word from somebody with supposed ASD level 1 is the real deal. That's a relationship strength as far as I'm concerned. People on the autism spectrum, they don't play head games. They typically don't have ulterior motives. And they assume, actually they're a little gullible because they assume that their spouse won't play head games either. Oh, she does. She does. And you don't catch it when it happens, but she does. So that's a refreshing change from the emotional roller coaster that damages many neurodiverse relationships. I could go on the rest of the afternoon. You know, the typical guy on the autism spectrum is not concerned who's richer, who's smarter, who's more talented, who's prettier, who's more handsome. You know, for people on the spectrum, these distinctions don't really hold much importance. For neurotypicals, it does. So you will tend to see through such surface appearances to discover the real person underneath. Neurotypicals tend not to do that, on average.